What's up, guys? This is Kobe with Sample Source back with another video. And in today's video, what I'm going to be teaching you guys is a raw take on how you can get to $1,000 a month minimum from your beats. And so if you don't know who I am already, I'm a platinum music producer. I have many major placements, but more so than that, I've been able to live full-time off of my music for 4 years now. And so what you're going to learn in this video, there's not going to be any fancy edits like I usually do. It's really just going to be my raw advice on what I would say to you face to face on some of the steps that you would use to scale to $1,000 a month minimum. And you don't need YouTube, you don't need BeatStars. And so let's hop into it. The first thing that I would say to you is you have to have a personal brand. And so what I mean by personal brand is not somebody on TikTok being a clown. What I mean by that is somebody who is putting their face in front of a camera and showcasing their work. And so that means breaking down your beats and putting your face on camera. And so it's not like I'm an extrovert or anything like that. I actually told my family members that, putting my face on camera, having a personal brand was the last thing that I would do. I just wanted to hide behind a logo and to just like record my screen and then people buy beats for me. But that's not how it works. Number one. And number two, when I first put my face in front of the camera and I played some guitar over one of my beats, it did twice as much engagement as everything else. And so what I discovered is simply showcasing your work if it's good and having a personal brand is going to develop trust. And trust is needed in order to sell beats, number one. So you should be trying to develop as much trust as possible. Number two, if you are trying to automate everything and delegate everything and trying to do as little work as possible and get as much income as possible, then I'm the last person you want to learn from, because everything I do is active. Everything I do is hands-on. And so if you're somebody who's a hard worker, you have good work ethic, and you're willing to do a lot of things that other producers don't want to do, then you can make thousands of dollars a month if you have good beats. So what I mean by this is that you need to be as personal as possible. And so instead of getting rid of all of these human checkpoints in your business and trying to automate everything, what you should be doing instead is trying to put as many human touch points in your business as possible so that they get a lot of human interaction. They get a very personal experience. And so now they're not even buying the product, they're buying the person and they're buying the experience. And so what I've done is I went from sending regular DMs trying to get sales to sending voice messages. And I made over $50,000 that way just by sending voice messages to artists. It was very aggressive, just trying to get sales, but they appreciated it because it was a human experience. It wasn't an automated one. So the only problem with voice messages is that it's one-way communication. So I go down the street one way and then I don't know if anything's going to come back to me. So, you can still get ghosted and all of that. So to solve this, I added in a phone call. So that way I at least could communicate further with the artist. I could figure out exactly what they want and I could cater my beats to them specifically. So this helped me to crack past $1,000 a month. I actually got past $3,000 a month with this method. So it's very possible to make thousands, just by having a phone call with the artist. Right. And so the only thing that I'll add on to that is that now they're not paying you immediately. So it would be a couple weeks out, they would start paying me. Right. And so that became the issue, was like, yes, I'm getting artists to commit to wanting to work with me, but they're not paying me when I want them to. And so I have to cross my fingers and wait for them to pay me. And so I didn't like this. And I knew that there was something that needed to change in my business so that I don't get a bunch of promises and no purchases. And so what I did is I started getting onto Zoom calls, get them to commit a little bit further and get onto a Zoom call with me where face to face. Now they can't ghost me, but also I can collect the payment on that call because I'm just going to preview some beats and then I'm going to sell to them face to face. And so this was a huge catalyst in my business. It allowed me to crack past $5,000 a month. And in my best month in the music business, I've made over $11,000. And so with that being said, it's very possible to live full time off of this method. But there's that prerequisite. You need to have a personal brand that develops trust. So that's number one. So once you've done that, you don't need to have thousands of followers. In fact, I've taught multiple producers who have less than 1,000 followers to make 3,000 and 4,000 a month. So you don't need tons of followers. You just need to develop tons of trust. So putting the content out there, showcasing and breaking down your beats, and that's going to develop the trust. So once you've done that, you have trust. Now we talked about adding in communication. So what I mean by that is like, hey, get onto a phone call with them, get onto a video call with them, and sell to them there. So that's the process. It's called two-step sales calls. And so I've learned this because I've been a salesman. I've had sales jobs before. I've learned from mentors who are in $100 million industries, and this is what they do to make money. And so I actually just got a sale yesterday for $500 from an artist who had like a few hundred followers maybe. And they weren't somebody that is making waves in the music industry. And they were still willing to pay me $500 because of the next thing that I'm going to talk to you about. And so we have trust, we have communication, and the third thing is making an offer. And so if you don't know what an offer is, no worries, I'm going to explain it to you. And so this is not beats, this is beats plus services. Or this is some kind of like bundle or package deal that they're getting to where it makes way more sense for them to spend a lot of money with you because of how much value they're getting from it. And so there's three things that you need to know when you're making an offer. You need to stack the value in a way that they can easily understand. Number one. Number two, you need to have some bonuses you can throw in that make it a no-brainer for them to buy. And the third thing you need to have is a guarantee. And so an example of the offer that I gave yesterday was that I gave them 5 beats. They actually got more than that, but they get 5 beats. And I also had some free mixing and mastering that I gave them as well. And I gave them a money back guarantee if we can't make it sound perfect, right? So that involves stacking the value, that involves having bonuses and a guarantee. And so like making an offer that's amazing to where it's like impossible for them to say no to is the number one thing you need to have a successful sales call. And so having that in place and knowing exactly what your offer is really going to help you. So there's a lot of caveats to that, like making an offer and selling on a phone call, super difficult, but it's very, very simple. And so like when you realize how simple it is, then all you need to do is get the skill set of communication. And so if you can communicate and market effectively, then what you're able to do is scale your business up to as much as you want. And that's what I started realizing is that like, hey, I can run a simple ad. I can spend $300, $500, $1,000 a month, and I can make 5 times more money back from that because I'm bringing artists to me. Or I can go out for free and send direct messages and send anywhere from like 20 to 100 a day. And that way I can have a lot of artists sitting in my inbox who are hungry and waiting to work with me. And so that is what I realized. It's like you need to market effectively, you need to brand effectively, which is creating that trust, and then you need to communicate. And so when you have all of those 3 skill sets, then you can scale this up as much as you can humanly do. And then from there, then maybe you can pivot business models. But I don't even need a BeatStars to do this. Like I'm collecting the payment through PayPal. I'm collecting it through Stripe, but I'm not using BeatStars to do this. So a lot of people are like, well, like when does BeatStars come in, or when does Buy Beats come in, or when does any of the other beat stores come in? It's like I'm not using any of those to sell beats. If I do use it, it's simply to preview the beats to the artist. But I'm not using that as the sales platform. So I have become the sales platform. So those are the skills that I would do, that I would implement in order for you to scale to minimum 1,000 a month. And so those are the skills. And we talked a little about making an offer and about them spending more money. And so what I mean by more money, we're not selling beats for $30, $50, or $100. Because if you're doing that, this is going to take way too much time and you're going to get way too little out of it. So that's why I talked about like, hey, I sold a beat pack for $500. A lot of people are running advertisements and spending multiple thousands of dollars a month, and they're selling like 100 beats for $20. And so not to knock that business model, but that is the lowest tier that you can do. And certain people have made $1 million off of that, like Anno Domini, Legion Beats. Flip Tunes is making a lot of money off of this as well. Wishmaster was another one. But selling these cheap beat packs, what you're going to run into with running an ad is something called margin. And so your profit margin. So you can run an ad and spend $20 and then you sell the beat pack for $20, right? So I'm running an ad and I spent $50 and made 500. So that's a 10x return. And then a lot of people running these ads for cheaper stuff, they're getting like 10% profits on it. So they spend $17 and they make 20. And then they spend $100 and they make 117. And so like they have to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars before they actually see like a really good return on that investment. And so they have to rely on cross-selling and upselling and all of that. And I just raise my price so much that it's impossible for me to not make money because I've already have the skill set. I simply need an artist to commit to at least following me, liking or commenting, and then I reach out and implement this skill set. So like I said, this is a super raw video, no editing, nothing like that. So you can see if I fumble or make any mistakes, like I don't really care. What I care is that you guys get this information because like this is transforming a lot of people's lives. I've helped music producers make over $100,000 now. I just had some more students, make $300, $500. They're getting exclusive offers and things like that. So like if you can scale to 1,000 a month, what I would say, what I spent my first 1,000 a month on, some of it was really stupid. Like just ordering whatever I wanted off of Amazon, whether that's something new for the studio or something new for my apartment. I upgraded apartments. It got a more expensive place. And then some of the other things like just buying shoes that I thought were cool, and things like that, just going on vacations and being able to travel a little bit. So like $1,000 a month can do so much for you. And so to put it in perspective, if you got a 5% return on the stock market and you invested $1,000 a month for 20 years, you would make $400,000. So that's the power of compound interest as well. So like even just practically, if you're spending like 10 hours to 30 hours a week extra, like working on something like this and making an extra 1,000, or like some of my students are making like 2,500 a month as well, like you can invest that in the stock market, you can invest that in a new house, and you can live a very comfortable life and you don't even have to quit your job. And like to be honest, I've been full-time for 4 years now. I was happiest when I had 2 streams of income coming in. Like it's stressful quitting your job. So like if you want me to teach you guys this method, like verbatim, you want my cheat sheets for these phone calls, you want my cheat sheet for the sales calls, you want my exact script that has a 6-step method to get them onto a sales call, and you want to know exactly how I find artists and get them to come to me and run my ads, like just reach out to me on Instagram. It's at Kobe Sample Source, and then just DM me system. And that way I know you came from this video and I can reach out, give you some more information. We can hop onto a strategy call for free. And that way I can teach you how to do this, see if it's a good fit for the program that I offer, which is the private Discord where I teach all of this to my students. So like if you're interested in doing that, like really, I'm looking for serious producers that are interested in making personal brands or already have a personal brand. Have built up some kind of following, like 200, 500, 1,000 followers. Like if you're around there, like you probably have developed that trust factor. So I can add in the skill sets and I can add in that communication aspect, and you can scale this rapidly within like 30, 60, 90 days, get to 1,000 a month. So just reach out to me on IG at Kobe Sample Source. Hope this video was helpful. It's just a raw uncut video. So yeah, I'm going to check out from this, but hope this was helpful for you guys. Reach out if you need more info on Instagram, and I would be happy to sit down with you and explain how you can practically and logically get to 1,000 a month from your beats, and you don't need YouTube. You don't need BeatStars. So appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk with you soon.